I may not be able to see chats, just as an FYI. If you do have questions, if you want to shoot those to Chandler, that might actually be better. And so, because I just am, I'm going to share my screen and go from there. So, so I want to start with what we're doing today and kind of give you a state of the ministry and our goals to start with. So we are launching a Light the Fire appeal. It is, I'm going to say more about it, the reason for it in just a minute, but I'll tell you what it is first. So our goal with this Light the Fire appeal is to raise $1.8 million between June 1 of this year and May 31 of next year. So in the 12 months leading up to summer 2021. That is $600,000 more than we would normally raise in a year. And that's the part I'm going to say more about. But we're going to launch it officially to the masses on July the 29th. And we've been doing work behind the scenes already for it. As of this morning, we have raised about $325,000 since May 22nd, when we announced that we would not be having camp, towards the Light the Fire appeal. And we have about $90,000 in pledges that haven't been paid, that people have said, we'll give you that over time. And then we have about $325,000 in open asks to some of our major donors who we're waiting to hear from. And so I just want to start by letting you know that we're doing the work and it's working. People are responding and they are very generous, and I'm very grateful. There is no community like Camp Community. So your role as a part of Light the Fire, and this is what we're going to learn about today, and you can choose, this is challenge by choice, just like at camp, but we'd like you to call 10 to 15, and if you are so brave, 20 names that I give you, and follow a script, and we'll do the script in just a little bit. And initially we had said that we would do the calls on Wednesday the 29th, but I had a lot of folks say, I would love to help you, but I can't make all those calls on the 29th. And so we've opened the call window up from Sunday the 26th until Wednesday the 29th at 7. And the reason for the 7 o'clock is because we're going to close the day with a worship and campfire, Vespers and campfire, and I want to be able to announce how we did for the day. And so I'll need your forms in time to scramble and get that number together to be able to announce. And so that's the goal for you all. That's your role as a part of this. The goal, the overall goal for the day is not a monetary number. We're not calling to ask people for $1,000 or whatever. We're going to try to call 1,200 people within that Sunday to Wednesday time frame, and we want 500 new gifts. And the breakdown of the new gifts are 250 recurring gifts, new recurring gifts, and 250 above and beyond gifts. And the way those are defined is a recurring gift is when someone chooses to give a specific amount on an ongoing basis every month or every week. Most people are doing it every month. And what that does for the ministry is it allows us to plan. It allows us to schedule, to know what's coming, when it's coming, because right now we don't have revenue coming in other than development. But it also sets us up for the future. So I came to NovusWay in August, specifically at the request of Bo to do two things, and that was to build the annual fund and to grow planned giving so that we could get the ministry in a position of strong sustainability. And when I started, we had 11 recurring gifts. As of yesterday, we had 96. My goal for Light the Fire is 400. So if we can do 250 on by this Wednesday, we have 350 of our 400 goal. And our average recurring gift is about $100 a month right now. It's some lower, some higher, but they average out at about 100. And if we have 400 recurring gifts averaging at $100, that's $500,000 a year for the ministry. That is huge. That is life-giving to the organization. So that's why that goal is important. The 250 above and beyond gifts goal is important because we still have to raise 1.2 million this year. That doesn't count the revenue loss that I'm going to tell you about. This is 600,000 above and beyond that for the total Light the Fire. So we're not calling people to say, give what you normally give, although that's super awesome. We're asking them to do just a little bit more this year to help us get to that extra 600 that we're going to use to close the gap. So let me tell you about the gap. So we started January and February with the strongest quarter we've had ever, if not in a really, really long time. Registrations were up, giving was up, hosted ministry retreat rentals were up substantially. And then, like the rest of the world, everything stopped because of COVID. So without summer, without other programming throughout the year, with the loss in folks registering for hosted ministry or registering and then canceling, we are projecting a $300 million revenue loss just for 2020 alone. So in a normal year, and this is a misconception that I I feel like we need to correct out in the camp ethos. A lot of folks say to me, oh, well, summer camp pays for everything that you do. And that is absolutely not true. 50% of our annual revenue comes from program. Now, a big chunk of that is summer. 1.8 million of it is summer. But it's only 50% of the total needed to run camp. And if you think about what it takes to run summer, you have to interview staff and get them on board and travel to see them and do registrations and get the packets. And there's all these things that have to happen all year. Also, you have to keep the buildings going all year. If we turned the air conditioning off, they would mold. Like, there's all sorts of things that have to happen all year long. And that's why it's only 50% of the revenue. 25% of it is hosted ministry. So people renting our spaces, churches that bring their councils or their youth groups or all those sorts of things. And then the other 25% we have to raise every year. So really what's happening is hosted ministry and development is subsidizing all the program that we offer so we can keep prices where they've been for as long as we can. So that's a normal year. This year, all of that is out the window. It is going to be more like 75% development. So we are doing a number of things to close that $3 million gap. One is that we applied for and received the PPP from the CARES Act, and that was about $400,000. That allowed us to keep our staff at current staffing positions, and as we pivoted and actually worked way harder to try to figure out what to do for summer and making all the decisions that we had to make. We did save $1 million in direct expenses from not having summer. So counseling and food and all the things that it would have cost us to have summer. We have made payroll reductions to an estimated 300,000 right now to help close that gap. And then the 600,000 for the Light the Fire appeal leaves us another 700,000 that we are still working on how to close that gap. So that's where we are right now as a ministry, as an organization financially. And so I want to pause here and ask if there are questions. I can only see 3 of you. So if you want to ask a question, just go ahead and say something so you'll pop up on my screen and I can see you. Okay, so so I know this is not great information to hear. I know it doesn't feel good on top of not having summer, not feeling good, and grieving that as well. And I want to acknowledge that, but I also want to be really transparent about why this is so important and how valuable your work is right now in this time. So so oh, and then, sorry, I didn't scroll down far enough. That 700, we are working on some other things, other expenses. The summer packages, that's another myth that we've heard, that the summer vacation packages will make up the loss. And the reality is that at all 4 camps combined, that's about $50,000 worth of revenue. So, so yeah, so that's the end of that piece of it. So now details for the day, and then we'll talk about ways to make a gift. So on Wednesday, the 29th, we're gonna start the day with morning watch, right? Because that's what you do. And so the CKs have agreed to help us with that in their, with their wonderful talents and gifts that they've been using already this year during COVID. And we're grateful for that. And Matt Fink is going to be helping us from the Faith Center live all day at the top of every hour. We're going to be sharing camp stories and songs and updates about how the day is going and all sorts of things. He's even told us, and I can't wrap my head around it, but if we're on the phone with somebody and it's a really cool call, we can bring it in and people can hear it. I'm like, okay, Matt, you do your magic. So we're going to close the day with a campfire and vespers at 8 o'clock, and we'll announce how we did for the event. And yeah, let's see, I lost my place. Okay, so campfire. And the other important thing to know about the live feeds and the messaging that we're going to be putting out there is that we're going to be asking for gifts. Your role, and you'll see that in the script, is not actually asking for money. It is sharing stories and making sure people know that the day is happening. So in our live feeds, in our social media and email and word of mouth efforts leading up, we will be letting people know that the day is going to happen. We will be letting them know that a very kind volunteer is going to be calling them from camp and to please answer the phone and be nice to them. And we'll be doing the ask. I'll be explaining the goals for the day, why the recurring gifts are so important, why the above and beyond gifts are so important. And so you'll start to see some of that coming out probably Friday. That's my goal. This has come together really fast. So I'm hoping Friday, at least something. So, so that's how the day is going to go. And questions about that piece. And I'll move on to the next part. No, everybody's good? Okay, we'll keep moving then. So here's the script for the day. So the way this will work is you can have this printed in front of you to help you walk along. I did send you an initial copy if you have it in front of you now. I will send an updated copy right before, because if you're like me, you might lose it. But also I have made a couple of shifts as the trainings have gone on to just tweak a couple words here and there. So I'll resend. But the first thing I want you to do is breathe and pray. This is a holy moment. What I experience when I talk to camp people is the passion of camp. It energizes me. It reminds me every day how important this ministry is. And my hope for you as a volunteer caller is that that is going to be your experience, that you're going to hang up from that last phone call and go, I am so glad I did that. That is just really powerful ministry. And so, so I want you to invite the Holy Spirit into that process. I want you to name the people that you're calling, and ask God to be a part of those conversations. So that's how we start. And then dial the number. Now we're going to do our part to make sure people are answering, that they may get calls from Colorado because we have camp staff in Colorado who are going to be making phone calls. But if they don't answer, which is maybe likely, the first piece here is a message, and I'm going to read this out loud so you can kind of hear how it sounds and how it feels, okay? So, hi, my name is Mitzi. I'm calling from NovusWay from camp. Now, that is intentional, the from camp, because we still have a number of folks who don't understand what NovusWay is. So we have to identify ourselves, but we have to do it in a way that helps people know who you are and why you're calling. So, hi, my name is Mitzi. I'm calling from NovusWay from camp to share that today, or Wednesday, depending on whatever day you're calling, is our special day of giving to Luther Ridge, Luther Rock, Luther Springs, and Luther Ranch. Due to COVID-19, summer camp was canceled, and camp needs our support this year. I'd love a chance to talk with you and hear your camp story. You can call me back at, I hope you will follow all the activities of the day on Facebook by visiting your favorite camps page. Thank you for being a camp friend. So that's the message. It's that simple. In that message, you've identified who you are, who the camp is, that COVID-19 has affected the ministry, that we're having a special day of giving, and that you want to hear their camp story. And so they may or may not call you back. If they don't call you back, that's okay. Don't worry about it. They've heard it. What I want you to do is you'll have a little spreadsheet with the names of the people that you're calling, and there will be a section for notes. And if you could just write in the notes section, called and left a message. Leave yourself space in case they call you back, so you can put updated notes. But I will be able to look at all the places we had notes and match if they gave a gift. So, and everybody will be coded in the system as somebody who's getting a phone call for day of giving, because it's important for us to be able to track that. So that's, if they don't answer, that's all you have to do unless they call you back. And then if they call you back, you can work through the process of this next piece. Questions about that? Okay, so if they answer the phone, even better, because you get to talk to them. But identify yourself is the first part. So, hi, my name is Mitzi. I'm a volunteer from camp, from Luther Ridge, Luther Rock, Luther Springs, and Luther Ranch. I'm one of the 80 callers working to connect with more than 1,000 of our camp friends. Are you aware that today, or this Wednesday, July 29th, is our special Light the Fire Day of Giving? And they will either say yes or no, generally. At least that's what I'm expecting. So if they say yes, then great. I hope you will join me in giving on this special day. That's the only ask in the entire script, okay? If they say no, then okay, let me share quickly that due to COVID-19, summer camp was canceled. This is a great loss emotionally and financially. We are working together to support the ministry by launching the Light the Fire appeal today with a special day of giving event. You can watch it live on Facebook all day on your favorite camps page. We will close tonight at 8 p.m. with a special campfire. So the reason that we closed it like that is because what we really want to do is get people watching, because again, we're going to be the ones explaining what's really going on and doing the ask, and it engages people in the ministry. So that's why that's the thing that we want you to ask them to do, to stay connected and watch the event. So you may get a number of responses from that, all of which are probably going to be related to giving, or, oh, I don't have social media, or something like that. So, so if they say, I've already given, then say, great, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And then you can just move straight into, I'd love to hear your camp story. On the sheet, if you could let me know if they say they've already given, You don't have to ask them how much. You don't have to ask them how. I'll be able to tell that in the system. So all you have to do is say thank you. And if they say, well, oh, I would love to give. How can I give? Then you will go to the other page where it has ways to give. I did not put this all in the script because I wanted the script to really kind of be on one page for you, because this piece of a conversation is going to be hit or miss. So what we really want to do on that day is drive people to online. And the reason for that is because the system online automatically initiates a recurring gift, and it automatically uploads into the system. It's just cleaner and faster, and I can track it the day of much easier and give a better report at 8 o'clock. So instead of, if somebody says, well, what are some ways I can give? What I would like you to do is respond with, are you comfortable giving online? And if they are comfortable giving online, then just say, oh, then it's super easy. You just go to NovusWay.org and click on the green donate button. And then you're done. You don't have to worry about it. If they are not comfortable giving online, then you can ask, would you prefer for us to take your gift over the phone, or would you prefer to mail your gift in? And if they say over the phone, then you can let them know you're going to give me their contact information, and one of our volunteers will call them to take their gift over the phone. Okay, and we'll just simplify it that way. They can call the camp; the number is there, but that's a harder piece to manage the day of, because that phone is in a different building than where myself and the volunteers will be all day. So it's there. If they want to call, they can leave a message and somebody will call them back. But I can't promise that somebody's actually going to be there all day. And then if they want to mail it in, it's super simple. You just give them the mailing address. And if they want to write light the fire, or if they want to write day of giving in the memo, they can do that, and that'll help us track that, but it's not required. So that's how they can give. Any questions about that? And then I'll go back to the script. Okay. And if you call someone who does need help walking through that and you're not comfortable, or this came up on the last training, what if they say, well, I'd like to give a stock gift? Oh, that's a good one, right? So it's really easy. You say, oh, that's fabulous. I am going to tell Mitzi to call you. And then you definitely tell me to call them, and I will follow through on that. And it may happen. You may find one of those folks in here. The people you're going to be calling are the people who give between $5 and $1,000 annually. And so there may be like a sleeper in there who hears the message and says, wow, actually this year I can do more, and I have some stock and I'll give some stock or whatever, but I'll manage all that for you. So the next piece then, the way to kind of circle the conversation back is just to go to the camp story. When you feel like they have the answer they need about how to give, if they ask it, then the next step is just to say, I'd love to hear your camp story. And then do what you do best, be the amazing human that you are, the good camp people that you are, and just listen and encourage and keep it about them. Oh, that's so great. What a great story. Isn't camp wonderful? And then you can kind of start to move the call to closing the call. So these should not take forever. Thank you for sharing your personal camp story. We need to put some hope in here so people don't feel, I don't want people to feel like there isn't going to be camp. I want people to leave on a positive feeling. So it is sad to think that the laughter and joy of summer camp and leadership training for summer camp staff will be lost this summer, but together we will come back stronger than ever. Super simple. And then thank you. I know you're busy. Thank you for taking the time to share your story with me. And then an invitation to campfire, because we want to get everybody back online following the day. I hope you will stay tuned on your favorite camp's social media and join us for our closing virtual campfire at 8 p.m. tonight or on Wednesday. We will announce our success for the day at that time. If they don't have social media, because this will be, because of, you know, wonderful Matt Fink, it will be on YouTube, it will be on Instagram, it will be on Facebook, right, Chandler? All three of those?
Let's say at least Facebook and YouTube.
Okay.
Not sure
okay.
yet about
Instagram.
Instagram.
Okay. If they don't, we will send out a follow-up email to everybody about how the day went. So we want to make sure their email address is correct. So you'll have, if I have an email address for them, it will be on your list. And so if you could just check that with them, hey, can I just check your email to make sure that we have the right email for you? And then you can put that on the list, and I'll leave a blank on your spreadsheet for new information. So you're not trying to squeeze it in on top of what's already there. And then thank you again for your time today. I cannot wait. We cannot wait to have everyone back at camp. Until then, continue to tell your camp story, and thank you for being a spark. And that's it. So let me see how that feels. Questions? Is it what you thought? Okay.
Oh. Hey, wait, Mitzi,
Yeah.
will you be sending emails out with the link, with the YouTube link to these people as well? Because I've learned from doing church this way that a lot of the older folks have a hard time finding things on YouTube, but if you send them a link, they can go right there.
That's a good call. Chandler and I will work on that together with Matt. Mm-hmm. Good. That's a good word, Stephen. Thank you.
Since older folks were mentioned, let me identify myself. I'm David Keck Sr., camper from 1951 on and counselor in 57. I doubt if any of you can beat that, but I'm excited about this. I think this is a wonderful thing and hope we can have a wonderful harvest from this. So anyway.
Thank you. And you know what? You just made me realize I didn't give us space to do introductions, did I? I went right into training. I'm so sorry. We'll do it at the end, I promise, because I do want everybody to know. I'm so sorry. That's where I'm at right now. Okay, so let's, you know what? Let's pause there and let's do. Well, let me just tell you this one last thing, and then we'll do introductions. So, what I need from you today, this is my cell phone number. As promised in the email, this was a training. It is not, if you are here today and you're sitting there in your Zoom location thinking, yeah, I just don't think I can do this. That is okay. It is okay. What I'd like everybody to do though, is to text me their name, because I may not have you in my phone, and let me know if you feel comfortable, and if you do, how many people you can take. Anywhere between 10 and 20 would be great, especially now that we're able to spread them out. That would be really, really helpful. So, and then what day you plan on calling folks, so I can kind of keep an eye out for when your spreadsheet might come to you. And then I will be sending your spreadsheet to you on Friday, right before, with the names of your folks. Once I have everybody's number, then I'll divide the names up and make everybody their own spreadsheet. And you'll be able to start calling on Sunday, and you'll have any final instructions about where to send those, because at the end, really what I want you to do, if you write all your notes on that one-page spreadsheet, you should be able to just snap a picture of that and send it to me. And that will keep it simple. Okay, so now I am going to stop sharing, and